Hey, YouTube, this is Southern Prepper One, and welcome to Boots on the Ground. Let's get right into it. We're going to start out of the story about the illegal immigrants flowing into the country. I've been studying it in depth for the last few months, and I will truly tell you that the situation is beyond what's being reported to us. It's actually worse. Some people have been saying for many, many, many months, even years, that this is called a replacement theory, where they're trying to get people in here to replace us. And I truly believe that. This is going to change fundamentally the United States of America. First of all, there is no law, there's no symbols of a country without a border. And it just gets worse daily. This is coming from Brunswick, Maine. And Maine has begun paying the rent for illegal immigrants. They call them homeless immigrants, but these are illegal aliens that have crossed the border, living in the apartments located in the town of Brunswick. The state has budgeted $3.5 million to provide 60 migrant families with 2 years of rent. This is going to pay a lot of money. If I do my math right, 3.5 million, 60 illegal families. That's about $58,000 per family for the 2 years. The state is also supplying $100,000 to dozens of the migrants for a year's worth of asylum application and work authorization assistance. So basically, they're going to speed them up so they can be provided the ability to get jobs in the community. They say, well, if they can get jobs, they can take care of themselves. But also, by getting jobs, it does take away from people that are looking for jobs that are already here legally. And there's all kinds of other programs. They're building some apartments for them. They got 36 apartments will be completed in the upcoming weeks. And I will assure you these will probably be given to them absolutely free. So a lot of money is being spent on the federal level and on the state level. The situation in the coast of Iman, off the coast of Iman, an oil tanker was diverted. Men boarded it and are diverting it to Iran. They say there's a dispute between the ownership of this vessel, but just further escalations of problems inside the Middle East. Ecuador is having major problems right now, and basically it is a civil war is involving cartel thugs, criminals. The president has ordered the military onto the street to crack down on this, but just further instability in the world. A report I saw that 93% of U.S. households stock wealth, 93%, is owned by the top 10%. So basically, the top 10% in America own 93% of all the stocks. That will show you that the poor is getting poorer, middle class is disappearing, and the rich is getting richer. This was sent to me, and it comes from the New York Post. The Bronx Food Pantry is having problems supplying food. They're empty for the first time in 10 years, and they're turning families away. Amazon is cutting hundreds of jobs. This will be in their Prime Video and the MGM Studio division. They say they have been cutting through 2022 and 2023, and they have let over 27,000 people go. The pace of layoffs that we saw in 2023 is increasing. It's not looking good for this new upcoming year. They predict, companies say that 38% of companies say they're likely to have layoffs in 2024. 52% of these companies that were surveyed said they're going to probably implement a hiring freeze in 2024. And they say the recession is the reason for these potential layoffs. They also said 4 in 10 say layoffs are due to replacing workers with AI, artificial intelligence. And 3 in 10 companies are reducing or eliminating holiday bonuses this year. So as you can see, good jobs are leaving the United States. They're also being replaced with artificial intelligence. The New York City high school was closed down. 2,000 illegal aliens who were being housed in these very huge big tents had to be moved indoors because of the inclement weather. So they actually had to take over the school. I think it was James Madison High School in New York City. I don't know if today they opened up or if they still had a day off, but this was the direct result of the open borders. Citigroup has been having some financial problems. They were projecting they were going to have a couple $100 million in some losses, and these losses were going to be because of the investment in the peso. They said $880 million loss in currency conversion losses from the peso, and they said $780 million in restructuring charges, trying to get more efficient, get leaner, get meaner, and more profitable. So definitely they're going to face a bumpy road with their stockholders. Consumer price index came out. It rose 0.3% in December, and that's higher than be expected. So that would make the annual rate about 3.4% inflation. So inflation is not dead. Google, they have confirmed around 1,000 layoffs. Playtika, that's an international company, 300 to 400. DTE Energy, they're trying to massively cut their energy company, and they're trying to have 3,000 buyouts. I think that's 30% of their company. They're trying to become more efficient, and they deal with electricity, selling it to the public. There's many more other layoffs occurring. There was members of an Islamic militant group inside Somalia, and this would be in the central Somalia area. A United Nations helicopter had mechanical problems and landed. One of the people on the helicopter was killed, and I think 5 were captured. And this is an Al-Qaeda-linked insurgency group. I've been telling you all along that any additional aid to Ukraine is going down the tube. It's a waste, and it's also going to contribute to more people being killed on both sides. David L. Davis, he is a retired lieutenant colonel, and also has stated this publicly. He says any money spent is going to be a waste, and people are going to die for nothing because it's not going to change the outcome. Russia has beaten Ukraine. And as soon as we can get to the peace table, the better both sides will be. The President Biden in the White House is still thinking about confiscating Russian assets. These are money that has been frozen since the conflict started in Ukraine. Currently, there's about $300 billion. Now, $200 billion is controlled by the EU, and the rest by the U.S., and it'd be about $100 billion. So they're thinking about taking this money and then giving it to Ukraine. I'm sure this will not go over well in Russia and probably not contribute to getting a peace treaty. The need for ammunition, be it all kinds of ammunition or war materials, is causing a big problem in Europe. They're saying that it has increased before the Ukraine conflict. Things were affordable. Now they're costing 5 to 10 times that amount because all these countries are vying for ammunition, vying for war materials. Just imagine if this was a world war scenario where there was a lot more players involved. This would drastically change all the minerals, all the natural resources out there. Everything would become more costly for the world and especially for the United States. A few days ago, U.S. destroyers shot down over 24 drones and missiles that fired by the Houthis. And the Houthi is the Iranian-backed group that is definitely supported pretty much by the Iranians. Without their support, they would not cease to exist. So luckily, there was no damage done to any of the shipping or to our ships in the Red Sea. Argentina is trying to compete with Venezuela. Argentina's inflation rate, I think, for December was 200%. They just beat Venezuela. Venezuela was a little bit lower. It was 193%. When we look at these numbers, we think, oh, this is crazy. This could happen in the United States. When the value of the Federal Reserve note starts to crash, you will see inflation rates this high. And basically, when inflation rates get this high, you better be prepared. You better be a producer of something. You better grow your own food, supply your own clean water, and definitely supply some of your electricity needs because things will get so expensive the average person will not be able to afford it. And lastly, Speaker Mike Johnson, he vowed to stand shoulder to shoulder with Taiwan and defend them against the Chinese military. The funny thing is, he won't be standing physically shoulder to shoulder. It will be me and you and people of the commoners. These politicians will never be in harm's way. It will be people like me and you, the average Joe. But the U.S. military is having massive problems recruiting people, which is good. I do not recommend anyone going into military right now. Um, it is political correctness run amok, and it will probably cost a lot of lives. So Johnson will not be standing shoulder to shoulder. Hopefully, we can work out a deal with China, but it is not worth a World War III. And I'm saying this because we don't have what it takes to fight China. We have depleted our forces, we have depleted our ammunition, and we're in major trouble. The report of some of our Minuteman being sold, and these would be intercontinental ballistic missiles, are so old we can't even update them. There's no way we can update them because the technology is so old. So remember, we might have more than China, but China's are all new. So they're going to work. There has been people that in the military said they seriously doubt some of our missiles would even launch. Or if they did launch, they would not be accurate because they're so old and they're so outdated. So continue prepping, continue praying. If you can help any food bank out, if you could help a family you know that's hungry, please, if the Lord has blessed you with extra, look for ways you can bless someone else. Thanks for watching.